Hello, Alessandra Monk and Grant Monk. I assume both of you are excellent.
Whoops. Hello, Adelere. Yes, we are. Thank you. I assume you are. Whoops.
Yes, I am excellent.
I didn't know if I
Thank you.
got out of there by accident. Good. Amazing.
Wonderful. Hello, Scott. I assume you're excellent too.
Thank you. I assume you and Alessandra are excellent, and all those that join the call.
Yes, we are. Thank you. Okay. Let's proceed. Today we're going to be talking about something. It's interesting also that Scott brought it up not long ago because that's in our private chat. It's the topic, the theme for this lesson, and then you talked about it. And that was wonderful. And it's dreams. That is another important concept to have as a billionaire, multi-billionaire, or a trillionaire. You've got to understand and accept the reality of your experience as a dreamer. So let's explore that. Everyone in this world will, by default, looks at the world around them and go, real life. See you tomorrow. This is real life. Everything is so real. It's fixed. But those who begin to awake in it actually begin to recognize something, which is everything that seems to be so real isn't exactly real. It just seems to be. And to be a trillionaire in particular, you need to actually embody this concept as a default way of thinking. Just to be clear, the one concept that is important for you to have is that you are a trillionaire. But other concepts determine, for example, the speed, even the time of your life when it's going to happen. As oftentimes when people go, okay, well, I believe this imagination thing, but I've been imagining something and it hasn't happened yet. And I go, all right, well, you started dreaming about your relationship life, married life from when you were a child, right? Did it happen to you when you were a child? Were you involved in a relationship? You go, no, because you're not natural with it at the time. So your concepts went as far as to determine the time the experience would occur in. So that's what you want to understand. Okay, so as we're saying, those who appreciate the power of imagination recognize immediately that we're in a dream. And you need this particular concept in order to have two things. Number one, speed. And number two, the accumulating power of trillionaires. Understand it this way. The more you think this external world is real, the more difficult you believe it is to change anything in it. Even though you may believe it, you can change it. But you also have the concept that's going to be a difficult task, right? To change it. The more difficult you accept it to be to change, the much more effort you put in. Of course, you know what effort can do to imagining. It can go all the way as to even kill the imagination because you may not, a person who has that particular process of experience or thinking may completely forget to think from the end, may completely be busy with the process or the effort that they think it requires to get to the end and go through that effort or that process without attaining the end. Neville put it in Awakened Imagination that all of my plans cannot make up for my lack of use of constructive continuous imagination. That's a beautiful sentence. No amount of planning you do can actually make up for not having a continuous imagination of the wish fulfilled. So you've got to have it if you want to have it, if you want to experience the result. So, dream. First thing, when a person does not believe or when a person does not understand that this world is a dream, it puts them in the effort mood. Okay, makes them do a lot of effort. Of course, also that pushes away believing. That's not even a topic anymore. What do you mean believe? Believe what? Okay, this world is real. What do you mean? Believing is a concept that makes total sense, a principle that is justifiable or applicable in the viewpoint or in the world frame, worldview or framework where dreams are real or where the world is really a dream. So that's number one. And number two is when you believe that this world is a dream, you have speed and accumulating power, like I mentioned earlier, which I'll now tell you what they are. When you believe that this world is a dream, you don't become fixated on how things should be. In particular, you don't think there is anything that cannot change because it's a dream. So being a dream, it can change and it will change, in fact, in response to changes in the dreamer's attitude or in the dreamer's state of mind. That is your predisposition to the idea that this world is a dream. But if, on the other hand, you believe and accept that this world is not a dream, like, oh, this place is real, everything here is super real, super gripping, it's choking on its hands on your neck or something, then you won't accept the fact that anything can change easily. Again, that brings us back to the effort the person would just do. But as a billionaire, you really want to believe this world is a dream. As a trillionaire, you want to embody this world being a dream because that is the fastest way to change anything. Dreams are the fastest ways things have experienced changes. Yes, the accumulating power of a trillionaire. We're going to see that shortly. Trillionaires have accumulating power. Okay. So dreams are the fastest way for things to change. I was talking with a fellow yesterday who had known me from back from university days. And well, yeah, being far away, he always seemed to be to have his, highly opinionated, highly have an opinion of anything and everyone, of who they should be, what they should be, how they should be. Well, anyway, he traveled and we'd not seen each other for some time. Then he came around and he said he'd like to see me. I said, all right, sure. So we met briefly while I was in my swimming class. And soon as we met, he said, I asked him a question. I said, hey, are you happy with yourself right now? He said, no. I said, are you living the life that you want? He said, certainly not. I said, all right, who's responsible for that? He said, well, me, like 90%. And I said, well, who has the 10%? I said, well, let me say the world collectively. And I told him, if we gave him just 1% away, you've lost control. Control. And that's what this is all about. Controlling your imagination, controlling yourself. You gotta be in control of your own life. Say if you give away just 1% of the responsibility, you've lost control. So take it back. Then we started talking, and I told him, this world is a dream, everything here. He said, no, this is real. This is reality. He said, okay, but it's a dream. Said, this is not like my dreams of the night. In the dream of the night, for example, when I dream, I can be aware that I'm dreaming and then I can even change it. And I can even wake from it. I can go, okay, I'm dreaming right now. And maybe someone was going to strangle me. I could just go, okay, I'm dreaming. Okay, so the person is sitting down and serving food to other people. And then it's gonna happen. It's going to change instantly. But this one, it's not doing that, right? And I said, oh, good that you mentioned that. Because in fact, that's the point I'm coming to for every one of you here. Because in fact, the speed by which things change in the dream of the night that you have, when you change your attitude and they change, reflects the exact way by which imagination works in this world. You will notice that any moment when you feel like this is really happening, Like you go, oh, this is reality. I'm getting strangled. Even though it's your dream and you can completely change the entire thing, you don't. Even if you try to change it, the moment you begin to believe it's real, the more you try to change it, the more it looks like it is difficult to change. The more it looks like this is death. This is the end in your own dream. But the minute you go, oh, well, this is a dream. It's not real. It's just a dream. The more you do that, the faster it is for the dreams to change, right? He said, yeah. Then of course I give him the 1 minute exercise, see your entire life in a minute. See it all happen in just a minute. And he did. And I said, what did that feel like? He said, it's like watching a movie. I said, well, wouldn't you call that a dream? And he said, definitely, that actually felt like a dream. Good. So what's to tell you you're not in a dream that is only happening much slower than the dreams that you have at night? Because you believe everything that you see here to be real. Like because you give it the quality of real, you go, it's difficult to change, it's tasking. Now, billionaires don't have that. Trillionaires don't have that. They don't believe it's so difficult to change, it's tasking, it's real. That's actually what makes it make sense for trillionaires to believe themselves into that position. It's a dream, and you want to recognize it that way. Now, speaking of the power of accumulating, if you were to be accumulating something by a real outer real process, you'd actually always encounter something called limits. Yes or no? Do you know that? Limits. You'd actually encounter limits in this physical world. There are even constants that exist in mathematics only because they are particular limits in the outer world. Okay? There's a difference. Engineering and physics are not the same thing. And also why engineering and mathematics are not the same thing. Because there are actually limits in the outer world. Like actual, oh, we can't do that. Actual, oh, that's how far it can go. Actual, oh. Economists try to imbibe that principle, and then they called it the steady state, and they made that the equilibrium steady state became the well, at a point in time it became the ultimate search or the ultimate wisdom. If you could find a steady state, that means the state where everything is at the place where it cannot be improved any better. It cannot get any further uh, better. That's strange. Why would you like to find a place where it can get any further better? I mean, get to that place and then make it better, right? But there are natural limits in this world. Now, could you conceive a person to be a billionaire, much less a trillionaire, if the person is subject to the law of natural limits? And they are growing. You've got to grow 1,000 millions to make a billion. One. Now, you've got to go 10,000 millions to make 10 billion. All right. You've got to grow 100,000 millions to grow 100 billion. So do you suppose a person who actually has a billion or 10 billion or 100 billion recognize limits of growth? Oh yeah, there are caps, there are limits. Oh, I can't do that. That's impossible. I absolutely cannot go to that level because it's a thousand millions. You need that's 100,000 millions, right? That's 100 millions. No, 1,000 millions. So do you think they actually recognize that? Definitely not. That's my lesson. Definitely not. They do not recognize the existence of limits. And that they includes you. Don't recognize the existence of limits if you'd love to be a successful trillionaire. And in order to not recognize the existence of limits, you've got to turn this supposed reality, this outer world, into a dream. And just make it that it's a dream. So I can't no limit in it because it is a dream. All right. So that is our lesson today. Remember, realize, and recognize this world as a dream. Oh, like the tree of life could be the dream of life, only living by desire. Yes, desire is actually a dreamy state to be in. So recognize this world as a dream and dwell in the end in the dream. As a dream, as a dreamer, you don't struggle with the dream. You don't struggle to change it. You don't try to use force or compel it. No, just dream. And the dream will produce the facts that you're assuming. All right. So that is our lesson today. And see you tomorrow. Remember, we also have a call scheduled for Sunday now. So see you all later. Bye bye.